Good morning. Start with the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video is financial advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial product. All content is for informational purposes only based on personal opinions and experiences. Trading futures, options, and other financial instruments involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor. You can lose more than your initial investment, so always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional. Okay. News today? Nothing. Basically nothing. We've got the API crude oil stock change, but that's after the bell. But up until then, again, like yesterday, it's just all Fed speakers. So that's it on news. As for our pre-market sheet, not much has changed. We closed the partial gap yesterday. As you can see, I had no trades yesterday. We're pretty balanced overall. There was a flurry. We had sort of a flurry higher in back lower quick off a reaction of, I think, just comments on the talk Trump had with Putin. So there was some reaction off that. But overall, we were pretty balanced during the day, and so there wasn't much for me to do. But yeah, so all you really did was close the gap and sort of just filled in this area. Like, this area did end up being balanced, like we said in plans. It did not act as a super clean over-under, I guess. But we were respecting it, at least initially. But as for the sheet, what else? We're opening in a balanced condition. We're inside yesterday's value area. There was no gap yesterday. The swing high is weak, I said. The high is weak. The low is good of yesterday. That's a very weak high, though. And we're moving, we were now moving away from the last complete major last swing high because, well, we closed up here and now we're below settle. So as for key levels, we've got settle, we've got overnight high, yesterday's high, and then this, oh no, yeah, I got rid of it. So this naked VPOC, yeah, this is all clean. Naked VPOC, naked settles, prior week's high. And then the prior high, this high, 63.14, is like the key one at the prior week's high. That's the key thing to break on the high side for me. And then everything above there is a gap. As for below us, we've got yesterday's low. We've got overnight low. We do have the prior low, which could be important as well. And then we still got the prior week settle and all the same stuff down here that we had from yesterday. So yeah, I kind of went through this already. Let me open my pen up because I may have to do it twice like I normally do. Because the pen don't like. Ooh, let's go. Let's go. So yeah, like I said, you clearly close this gap. Close this gap. That's done. You sort of check the POC, but this was really quick and it's very weak. Because like I said, it was mostly the reaction from news up there. So yeah, weak high tells me we'll likely want to come back at some point. I don't know when, but I actually am leaning slightly to the short side this morning, and I'll tell you why. Basically, with this action, grind higher, you know, overlapping higher. We're one time framing on the RTH. You pop up, you close the gap, but then you have interest, obviously, but you sort of roll over. You close down here. You checked all the way down to below the open. So you sort of came from up here all the way down to here, and then back up here and closed up here. And then obviously continued lower in the overnight. And so that's sort of how I'm seeing it. I think if this does roll over, a good clue of that will be the break of yesterday's low. That would end the RTH one time framing higher. We're still not one time framing on the full session, the full session profiles. But on RTH, obviously, we are. Yeah, and so the thing to me, it looks like the main intention here was just to close this gap, right, from Friday or whatever. So we close the gap and then we revert lower. We leave a weak high, indicating that at some point we will be back, but we're back below settle, um, and we're pushing lower. So if we're staying below settle like this, I basically am only really looking for the test of yesterday's low. Once we break yesterday's low, we could continue down. Like the prior day's low I marked as well. Yesterday's is more important, but the prior day's low is not insignificant either. But if that goes as well, then I'm really just looking for this low in the prior week settle, the naked prior week settle from last week to get tagged. And potentially we start over the next couple days making our way down to this purple zone I have to test that, because like, yeah, we had a big gap day, but you haven't really had any like clear pullback. Like, yeah, there's good trade here, but then the rest of this was just closing the gap, you know? So I could see this end up being a lower high and we revert lower for a deeper pullback. And then from here, like I said, could go either way. We could get support and move back higher, or we could break below and go to check the swing low. It could do either from this blue zone, but for now I'm leaning bearish to test that purple zone. So that's how I'm seeing the market today. If we do end up reverting higher, because I could very easily be wrong, I'd like to see it get through this sort of value area. We've got prior week settle, we've got an MC VPOC here, we've got the 5-day VPOC, there's a lot of value in here. And so if we see a nice push above settle, like sort of like yesterday, that is staying above, then I'd be more confident in a test of this high to fix it up. And potentially continuation up to test the actual value area of this day. And also we've got a small pocket of singles up there that could also be filled in, and a bunch of naked stuff, as you can see from over here. But like I said, the main thing would be this swing high, which we may not be able to get today. It's like 2 points. We may, but a bit unrealistic expectation, I think, to think we're going to get that today. So as for the 30-minute overnight VPOC, lines up pretty much perfectly with the 5-day and the MC. So I'm basically using it as the same thing. Like, if we get a nice push above it, then yeah, I'll take it. But I really want to see settle hold, and vice versa. If we hold this from below, that tells me both held. You know, if you can't get above this area, then settle holds as well. You don't necessarily need the test of settle in that case. So basically, what it would look like, I guess the sort of simple variations I would look for would be, let me give myself a little more room. It'd be test up, holds, overnight VPOC slash 5-day VPOC, continues lower, boom, one scenario. Then we have the deeper pullback that comes up to test settle, and boom, continues lower. Then we have just the straight bearish scenario that doesn't even check higher and likely just goes for overnight low here. And then we have the bullish scenarios, which would be basically all you can really do for the bullish scenario is this. You have to get above settle for me to continue for higher prices. You have to be holding settle for me to be convinced in longs. If not, like, unless we get down to like overnight and we fail, like the only way I would take a long that's below settle would be if we get boom, lower high, reversion, potential pullback, something like that. But yeah, overnight's not really special today because it's right in the value area, so it just becomes a cluster. So I already went through it. Sorry. Yeah, so let me just grab a quick swig of coffee. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so let's get to drawing. Like, scenarios aren't that different from yesterday. The only thing that's really changed is I am leaning slightly more bearish just because of the fact that we were able to close the gap yesterday. But really, you know, like, I'm wrong all the time, so it's not like it's set in stone. I likely will not take any trades below settle, any long trades below settle. but we could very easily get above settle is what I mean. So I'll still follow my plan. The main idea and my main bias could easily be wrong. So we've got prior low, yesterday's low, so that's good. Naked settle. And then on the high side, just maybe go up to the prior week's low. We don't really need yesterday's much or anything past yesterday's. Okay, there, that's good. So now we do it like this. Boom, prior low. Boom, yesterday's low. Boom, overnight low. Boom. Boom, settle. Boom, value. Boom. I can fit this in one. Overnight high, yesterday's high. And then I won't draw everything. I'll just put the key high there. But obviously we have this naked stuff that you can see on the right side. Prior swing high. Yesterday's high plus overnight high. Settle. MC VPOC. I know that one's kind of hard to see, but overnight low. Yesterday's low. Prior low plus naked settle. Okay. So those are written out. So I kind of put these too far, but we'll draw from here. It's fine. So yeah, like I kind of went through all of these already. I won't draw all the variations. I'll draw the main ones, but main bullish scenario, like I said, bullish can only really happen in one of two ways, which is one, really the main one I would be looking for would be just the impulse above settle that holds from above, and we're actually able to stay above settle for continuation for, like I said, overnight high, and then all the naked stuff above. Overnight high, yesterday's high, and then all the stuff above, right? If we can get a nice break of yesterday's high, I could see this continuing on a bigger directional move. But like I said, it's not my main bias, so we need to see ourselves get above settle before I do anything like that. And so overnight high, yesterday's high is going to be the key resistance area, as well as the swing high. But like I said, the swing high is pretty far, so it may still take us a couple days to get there if we even want to test it. Like, I mean, we've tried already and haven't been able to. So yeah, and like I won't draw this one, but I'll draw it quickly. But the other way we could do that is if we fail to tag overnight low / yesterday's low. Like if we front run one of them and start reverting higher, that is a good indication that you're at least going to get the push above settle. Like for me, I probably won't take that trade anyway because you have all these value metrics right here where it could get squishy, like yesterday. But that's just another way we could potentially go long. As for bearish scenario, I mean, I know the bearish scenario could happen in a couple ways, so I'll do two for the bearish scenario. I'll do one with just an impulse lower, breaks overnight, breaks yesterday's, and continues. Or we have the pullback first that comes down, holds settle, and continues. And so really this area is going to be the main support area. Potentially this prior day's low. But really the more important low would be the actual low, I guess, of the gap, right? The 60-67 there, which we don't have in our thing, but they could both be important. And the 60-67's again kind of far. Only a point though, but yeah. So here's the plan. I'll leave it at that. I think this plan is pretty clear in what I'm looking for and how it could form. So, yeah, this is a plan. like I said yesterday, if you are also trading the crude futures or you're trading another market, you know, put your comments in the chat, and I'll read them. Like I said, if you're in crude, just say the market you're watching, and then give us some of your ideas that you have. Right, like the good thing about trading, I guess, is like no idea can really be wrong, right? Like, could just not be what you're looking for, but that doesn't make it wrong, right? So the good thing about trading is that, and you have, you know, how you get there doesn't matter, right? It's just that you get there in the end. So, you know, but yeah. So if you guys are trading similar markets or in similar ways, like, uh, feel free to comment. And if you want anything to help for more detail, like I could go through a quick video just explaining the TPOs, and because I know I use the TPO for the main scenarios and sort of interpreting the prior day's action. And so if you are not familiar with the TPO, I could do my best at least to explain, how at least I'm looking at it in certain indications, like with the singles and the double TPOs and the bellies versus the elongated profiles. Um, so yeah, comment if you want something like that. I could do that this weekend if people want it. But yeah, I'll end it there. Here's the plan, and I will see you end of day if I have any trades. See you then.